Welcome back, everybody. Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 41. Wanted to give you a quick update on the Irish Spring soap situation and the flies in the shop. It's still working really well. I haven't seen maybe one fly in this shop since we got that in here. And there's one right there. But other than that, it's working out really well. Really have not seen the flies in here like we have been. I'm not sure if it's for the soap or what, but you can definitely still kind of smell that soap. That stuff's really strong. I really don't enjoy it, but I don't enjoy flies either. So it actually seems to be working pretty good. So we'll let it hang out. Just wanted to give some people an update. A few people emailed me and said they had heard the same thing and were curious if it worked because they had heard kind of the same deal on Facebook or somewhere, had seen something like that. Quick update, we did have the Jamboree this weekend and it was a lot of fun. We did enter the mullet contest, and so my boy wanted his haircut. He's been sporting a mullet for quite some time, but he wanted to get it kind of freshened up, and he actually combined the mohawk and the mullet and had a little bit of a spiky kind of little mohawk thing and the mullet, and he ended up winning the competition. I did not, despite this mullet that I thought was okay. But there was quite a few entries in it, and everybody got a good laugh out of it and had a good time. My boy ended up winning the entire thing, so he won himself $50. He didn't really know what was going on because they just kind of stood us up there and had us take our caps or our hat off and stand up a little bit, and then they would, clap and kind of judge that way. And he undoubtedly won the thing, and he didn't know why everybody was cheering and clapping at him, but he was proud to be up there. And then when they gave him a check, he was excited. So he's got him $50 to go spend on something, and he's pretty excited about that. So he got the mullet deal done. I'm going to today have my wife cut this for Waco next week because I don't want to be walking around with this. It's probably still going to be, there's not much I can do about it. So I will have a little bit of a mullet in Waco if you see me there, if you come there. But I will have it a lot shorter because it's kind of annoying me right now. So we're going to go ahead and get that cut. But the Jamboree was a lot of fun. They had a carnival. They had a bunch of vendors, the barbecue cook-off. We got to see a lot of the awards for that. And who won the brisket and that kind of thing. This is actually also a Go Texan barbecue cook-off, so I don't know exactly how that works, but I think those points kind of add up, and you can end up competing at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for their barbecue cook-off, which is one of the biggest ones in Texas. So that's a really neat deal. But one of these days, maybe next year, we'll actually compete in that deal. I've competed in it before. We never did any good, but we had a lot of fun. And so maybe next year I can put me a team together and we can try to compete here at the Jamboree barbecue cook-off. But then we did Sunday. We stayed there till probably 10 o'clock, I guess, and the kids were tuckered out. We danced and had a good time. They had a real neat band there and stuff. And then we left. And yesterday morning, Sunday morning, they had a parade here in town. And the lodge here in town had a float, so we were on that. And then my kids ended up riding with us on the float and throwing candy, so they had a good time. But it was a really good parade. Had some really neat floats and some neat folks in there. And so the parade's kind of short in Moulton. We go around the whole town. It took about 15 minutes, and so for the parade to go all the way through. But it was really neat and a lot of fun. And then I came in here yesterday and just did some work. I worked on the rope bags. I ended up finishing the back panel for one of the rope bags, the one that's going to be the double compartment. We got it done, so we're going to dye this brand here black. We'll get it dyed black and then get it started, get ready to be put together. The other one is just about finished. The front panel is completely done. Like I said, that one's a surprise, so I can't show you that yet, but I will shoot some footage of it when it's done because I think it's a very special gift that's that we're making here, and I just want to show it to y'all because I think it's going to be pretty cool. But we cannot let any of it out until the date. So, but we'll show you some of that in the future as soon as that goes down. Probably late August, somewhere around in there. We'll show you some video of that. Another thing that we did last week, my wife was at a horse sale in San Antonio. She's still doing a little bit of consulting here and there, helping out with the ranch where she worked before we moved here. And so they had their big horse sale in San Antonio and for racehorses. And so she was there. Her and my little girl went there to help Thursday and Friday. And me and my boy hung out in the shop. And I promised him earlier in the year that whenever the horse sale came around that we would get to his dollhouse, or his cowboy house, as he likes to call it. It's a cabin for all his cowboys so he can build his ranch. And that's the one that he got for Christmas. And if you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen that we posted a picture or two of it, and we did get it finished. It's not, the wood's not stained, all the wood, and the porch isn't painted, the interior is not completely painted, but we did get it done. We got the shutters on, the windows in, the doors in. The door actually opens and functions. I'm gonna make a little doorknob for him, and then we got all the shingles. This thing, like I said, it had, I mean, every single shingle you had to dye them. I put them in a big plastic bag, like a big Ziploc bag, and then I just used leather dye, and it worked great on these wooden shingles. But I put some mahogany leather dye in there and then just rolled them around. That worked out beautifully because it happened really fast. Then I just dumped them out on a piece of butcher paper and let them dry for a good 24 hours before we started putting them on. The only drawback to that was I used an old Ziploc bag that was just sitting over here on a bench, and it had a few little holes in it. And so I ended up with dye all over my hands and some on the floor and stuff. But all in all, it wasn't too bad. He thought it was funny because I got dye all over me. But anyway, we got that done, and we got all the shingles put on. We just used hot glue. That worked best. If you do one of these, it'll tell you, they come with directions and stuff. But if you end up getting one of these things and trying to do one for your kid, or just because you want to try one or something, obviously this is not a authentic dollhouse channel, but I tried my hand at it, came together. He's got him a little ranch house. But if you do try to make one of these, it'll tell you if it's got these wooden shingles. It'll tell you don't use like wood glue, anything that's water based. And I thought at first, no, it'll be fine. I'll just use wood glue. But it said it'll curl the shingles, and it did, because I tried to use that because I ran out of hot glue, and I thought, well, I'll just use my, just wood glue. And no, you put it down there, and those shingles actually start to kind of bowl up, and I guess the water in that glue. And so it did cause an issue. So I had to pull those shingles off and run to the dollar store and get some more hot glue and do it right. So we ended up doing that. Hot glue worked best for me. You could probably use some other type of construction adhesive that's more oil-based and not water-based, and that would work good too. But again, this isn't a dollhouse channel, so I'm going to give tips on building these since this is my first one. And he's just going to destroy this. He's going to play with it. He's going to end up breaking shingles off, probably breaking some of these posts off and stuff like that. These are made to look at, probably. You know, they're just made mainly just to put up somewhere as a keepsake or to look at. He's a boy. He's going to have cowboys. The other day, he had all his horses up here and cowboys on the roof shooting cowboys on the floor. And so it's going to end up getting broken. I've already warned my wife because she gets really bent out of shape when he tears stuff up. But I said, look, he's going to break this thing. So don't think you're going to hand this down to his grandchildren or anything. He's going to end up destroying it. But it's pretty neat. That's the inside of it there. You can see it's got a couple rooms in there, and then a second floor. Now, one neat thing, you can't really see it in the video, I'm sure, but I did have to use a little bit of leather work to make this work. But on this step, on these, make sure you can see that. On this staircase, the stringer for the stair treads, there was two of them, obviously. And one glued to the wall, and then the other one sits out here. And then you put your treads on there. Well, that box set on the floor, he got it for Christmas, so it's been forever since I've been back to work on this thing. But evidently Huey had got in there at some point and gotten one of the stringers and ate about half of it. So I only had a little short section of the second stringer. And so I really didn't know how we were going to make the stairs work. And he really wanted his stairs, but you know, if I didn't put them in there, he wouldn't have really paid much attention. But when I was in here, we were working on it, I decided I actually just took the good stringer and used it as a pattern and cut a piece of 9-ounce leather, and that's what we glued against the wall. So it matches exactly like this stringer, but it's out of leather, and then those treads are on there. And that actually worked out really good. So there is some leather in his house, and it did help save the day here with what Huey ate. So we got that fixed, and actually worked out pretty good. So we were pretty excited about that. But anyway, the cowboy cabin is done. So now he's got enough panels and loading chutes and horses and cattle and deer and elk and all kinds of stuff to build a heck of a ranch. So now he's got his cabin, everything, so he's good to go. He's trying to decide if he wants to take it home or leave it here. He's here more than he's at home really during the day when he's playing hard, because when he's at home he's riding or running around or we're doing something there. And here at the shop he gets bored pretty quick, and it's summertime, so I'm sure it'll stay here till school starts, and then we might end up taking it to the house and letting him set it up there and stuff. But that's done, so that's off my bench. I'm glad that's off my bench, because that's been one of those deals that has sat over here under this bench all year long, and every time I walk by it I think, man, I really need to finish that for him, because he got it for Christmas, and and it's just been sitting there, which we had the bulk of the house kind of put together, and he was playing with that and kind of enjoying it, but it wasn't done. So now it's done. He can have a good time with it. But also, while we were hanging out working on this, I had texted a friend of mine, Cody, that lives down around Edna, and I told him, I put some feelers out with a few of my friends around here, that I was looking for a utility trailer just to make a welding trailer out of. I have a little utility trailer that I intended to use for my welding trailer, just on the place and stuff, just put my welding machine and cutting torch and tools. And I bought that trailer for that, but it's a nice little, it's got a ramp and everything, and it's a nice lawnmower trailer. I think it's like 12 foot. And so it's perfect for a lawnmower if you got to go pick up some furniture or move something or whatever. It's just a handy little trailer, and I really didn't want to devote it only to the welding machine and stuff and bolt it down and weld on it for my bottles and all that stuff. So I've just been kind of using it when I need it and then taking all my stuff off when I'm done with it. That way the trailer's free. So I decided to find me just an old junky trailer I'm not scared to devote as the welding trailer, because it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to be on our place, maybe come up here to the shop if I need to do something or whatever. And anyway, Cody had gotten back with me, and he told me, I found you a trailer, and it was actually a welding trailer, like it's a homemade trailer, but it's got the boxes in the bed, you know, and all that, and then it's got bottle holders on it and everything else, but it was sitting in their scrap iron pile there at work. And his boss ended up saying, just if he wants it, take it. It was given to me. We're going to haul it off for scrap. If he wants to, tell him to come get it. So Tate and I jumped in the truck on Thursday and around lunchtime, and we ran down to Edna, and we got the trailer, went to a tire shop, had a couple tires put on it, and brought it back. So that was a fun little trip. He got to take a big nap because by the time we got to Hallettsville, he was asleep. So he slept the whole rest of the way, which was about another hour to Edna, and then we picked up the trailer and came back. So we've got that at the house. I'll try to put some pictures of that on my Instagram so you can check it out. It's just a rusty old trailer. I mean, it's nothing special, but it's perfect for what I need. And it's a gooseneck, so it's like probably 14 foot long, somewhere around there. And it's a gooseneck, so make it kind of handy. Less folks will want to borrow it, or will be able to borrow it if they can't pull it. But it works pretty good. We're going to go ahead and get the machine set on there and kind of figure out where everything's going to go and all that. So I'll now have that situation taken care of. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know when I'm going to get to work on it. I'll probably work on it when we get back from Waco and start rigging it out and getting it all situated and everything, and get everything on there. I had a lot of good feedback from you guys last week on the Monday video as far as us getting into pricing a little bit on here. I try to keep these short and sweet, and that way it's just kind of an update on what's going on and what's happening in the shop and things. And with summer, it's about the only video that I really have time to do right now. I know we've done a couple project videos and stuff, and trying to put in some more tip videos and things, but especially trying to get ready for Waco, I just haven't had a chance, plus with all the custom stuff. But I wanted to touch on the pricing deal last week because we get so many questions about it, and we'll go more in depth on that like we talked about last week. But with that conversation, they were really excited that we talked about pricing, said they got a lot of ideas from that and a little bit more perspective. But they had a question on sales. They have kind of maybe a little bit of fear of using the word sales. You know, I'm trying to sell something. Sales, you know, sales kind of has a bad following. You know, oh, that's a salesman. That guy's a salesman. You know, it's kind of got a bad little air about it. But there's nothing wrong with sales if you're doing it from the perspective of serving your customer. And that's kind of the way I've always tried to do it. Like, if my saddle is going to help a customer perform better, help a horse perform better, help that person succeed in their goals, or just make them happy to be riding what they're riding, then that to me is serving that customer. And so I don't look at it so much as I'm just trying to sell them a product. Because for me, if you have one of my belts, or you have one of my saddles, or one of my rope bags, or whatever it might be, that's more of a relationship. Now you and I are kind of connected in that way of trade there, that I want you to be happy with it. I would rather somebody not have one of my saddles than have one and be unhappy with it. And same thing with a belt or anything else. I would kind of, just to touch on sales a little bit, sales isn't a bad thing. That's what you're doing. You're always selling yourself, whether you're working at a job and you're trying to get a promotion or doing whatever, you're selling a service. And if you can look at it from that perspective of you're serving that customer, because I've turned jobs down or talked customers out of purchasing certain things, or out of purchasing a custom saddle, or help them with what they currently have and save them money from having to take that next step, because I felt like that was the best way to serve them. And I think if you go from that standpoint in your salesmanship, you'll always kind of have that following about you, that people say, that guy, if he says you need to do this, then he's telling you right, because he's not trying to just, it's like you take your car in to get the tires rotated. Next thing you know, they're telling you need a transmission, and you didn't think there was anything wrong with your car. And not that auto mechanics do that much anymore, but everybody's heard those stories and stuff. And most mechanics, most business people, most saddle makers, most of them are trying to serve. We don't want people to come in here and feel like they got taken. And if as long as you're not coming at it from that kind of standpoint, there's nothing wrong with being a salesman. There's nothing wrong with marketing yourself and marketing your products. There is one of the kind of deals you can get into, one of the pyramid deals or whatever, and it seems like every time you run into that guy that's involved with that certain organization or multi-level deal or whatever, they're always trying to sell this or sell that or sell, and it's that's just a game. They're just trying to sell widgets. I don't think most craftsmen come at it from that standpoint. They're very proud when somebody buys something from you, because it's almost like proof that you're doing a good job. If somebody will give you hard-earned cash for what you made, then that's proof that you're doing a good job, because they see the value in it. They're trading you $100, $200, whatever, for something that you crafted. Then they're seeing that value, and that's what you want. So, sales, it's hard when you start. When I started, it was really hard. When somebody said, well, why would I order a saddle from you? It's very hard to come up with an answer for that, because you're not confident in your skill set. You're not confident in your salesmanship. You're not confident where you are. I'm still that way half the time. A lot of times I'll almost talk myself out of getting a saddle order or selling a product, just because I feel like the customer should know what they want. If they came to me, they've got their mind made up anyway. I don't want to be pushing them in another direction unless I see a pitfall. If they're wanting this certain product to accomplish this goal, and I know it's not going to do that, then I will try to guide them and show them why, and then let them make the decision, but put all the facts out there so that they understand what they're trying to do, and why their idea isn't going to work as well as what I'm putting in front of them. And that's your part as a salesman. You're a guide. You're trying to guide them to success or guide them to accomplishing their goal, even if that's just putting a smile on their husband's face with a pretty belt that they've had in their mind for a while that they know he would like. If that's fixing a horse with a saddle issue that's just causing him to underperform, or whether that's just repairing a man's saddle that needs to get back out there and get back to making a living or get to the next rodeo. You're serving that customer through that action. You're serving that customer through those skill sets that you've acquired, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why they're coming to you. So don't look at sales as kind of one of those deals. You're not going door to door trying to sell everybody magazine, memberships or something like that, subscriptions and things. You're offering a service that is needed. If the customer comes to you, they're looking for that item, they're looking for that repair or that belt or whatever it might be. Then there's nothing wrong with you being confident and saying, yes, I can do that, and I can do it here, and I can do it there, and I can do it for this much based on your pricing. And that's where those two tie in together. Once you get your pricing figured out, it gives you much more confidence to know that, yes, I am worth this job or this item or this process is going to cost this much money because of all these things. You've already got this data from the pricing situation already figured out, and it gives you a much more confidence in your sales to be able, when you're talking to a customer, if they bring it up or if they question the price on it, you can better explain that so that you sound more confident, and they get that sense from you that he understands what the ingredients to make this dish is, and all that. It's kind of like I was reading something, and that most restaurant people that own big restaurant chains and stuff like that, they can usually tell you down to the penny on any plate on their menu what the hard cost is on those plates. And that blows my mind, because I can't tell you to the penny in every item in this store. I can get close, but I don't know every penny of cost in there. But for a restaurant, the margins are so small, they have to know that. And so I feel like that's a really, really cool deal. If a man knows that, it makes it very confident when he runs a special or when he does this, or if somebody wants to add cheese or do this, he knows very well how to do that pricing wise and how to serve that customer better and be able to do that and actually be profitable as well. Because you want to always overserve your customer, give them more than what they actually expected or maybe more than what they paid for. But unless you know your pricing, you don't know where that line is. So you don't know, can you throw in a breast collar on a custom saddle and still make out? You don't know, can you give somebody a free jar of Skidmore when they come in and buy $50, $60 worth of stuff so that you can get them to try it because you know it'll help them and not charge them for it. If you want to do that, that's what I'm saying. You have to know those pricings, the pricing of your stuff in order to aid in your salesmanship, and that way you can confidently kind of market yourself. But don't be scared to market yourself. Another part of his question was like, how do you market yourself, on social media and stuff? Because, some guys are really good at it. I mean, they put stuff out there all the time and they market this and market that and there's all kinds of ways to do it. You got to remember social media is very young and has not been out very long. When I started building my shop and started my business, we didn't have Facebook. We didn't have, YouTube was around, I think, at that time, but you didn't use it for much, see how to put a door handle on a 83 Dynasty, or something like that. You could find a video from way back that somebody had posted that showed you how to do it or something. So, I mean, when I started, we didn't have anything. We advertised in the local newspaper, maybe, the phone book. Everybody did. The phone book used to be a big, thick, huge book that had everybody's phone numbers in it. And you could just go to it was all alphabetized, actually, and you could go to it and you could find somebody's phone number. And then in the back, they had these ads, just like in the back of a magazine. A magazine is kind of like a book, but it's thinner, glassy pages. It's kind of like a newspaper, but never mind. Anyway, we'd advertise in the phone book. We'd advertise with the local rodeo. When they would come to town, we would do little donation things here and there and hand out business cards and go to shows a lot, which we did, just to try to get our name out there and do all that. So it was just kind of the old school way of just kind of, leather to pavement, running around, just trying to get people to know us. We never really signed up for the Chamber of Commerce when we were in Bryan because it was so big, and we may have benefited a little bit from that. They say there's some networking deals there. I'm not sure if that really is helpful or not, or if that's just more of a deal to help the Chamber. So, but I think there's a lot of good things that the Chambers do with different communities and things like that. But if you're in a big city, I'm not sure. I don't know. I've just never experienced it, so I don't know all about it. But we were in that spot of going from that to then all of a sudden we had social media, and social media Facebook came about, and we had a little personal Facebook page and started putting some pictures of what we do and this and that. And it began to grow pretty quickly because for the first time we were able to be on everybody's phone that followed us any day of the week, anytime we posted something. So we ended up doing a lot of marketing and began pivoting, and over the next couple of years after Facebook, kind of became real popular and we got on there and stuff, we slowly just didn't do any other type of advertising. We've done a lot of advertising as far as paid advertising on Facebook over the last, say, 4 or 5 years. We haven't done any in probably 2 years, just because they've changed it. You've got to remember with social media that you don't own your stuff. So if your profile, this YouTube channel, I don't own any of the platform or anything. It's just they're allowing me to put this video on there. They're allowing you to put a post on their platform. They're allowing you to be a part of that. And as we've seen over the last few years, you can be allowed to leave too, whether your choice or theirs. And so the thing that we've gotten is like, we get a lot of orders and a lot of traffic and a lot of benefit from the social media platforms and the YouTube and stuff like that. But we also have our website presence, which we do own. That property we do own. And so that is something that I always recommend if you're talking about how do we market this stuff. If we get past the point of salesmanship to where we say, okay, I'm confident in my pricing, I'm confident in my skill set, I want to market myself now. I'm over the little draw on the sales word, and I'm good. I feel like I'm serving my customer. Now, how do I market that? It's an ever-changing, ever-moving carrot. You have to constantly be ready and looking and studying and kind of just going with what's new and what's hot. Because we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then our website. That's pretty much our only 4 platforms that we market our stuff. And I do very little paid advertising whatsoever. We don't do any Facebook ads anymore. I may in the future. I'm not saying I won't, but it's just I haven't seen the benefit from it the last couple of years that we've been doing it, so we slowed down on that quite a bit. Instagram, I've never spent any money on Instagram. I know it's the same deal, but we've only really done, I guess, some of the ads cross over, but we mainly just do it through Facebook. But now you've got new things like TikTok and all these other things that are coming about. We're not in any of those. Maybe making a mistake, I don't know. But our platforms are, are following and stuff. They're kind of big enough that it's hard for me to handle the ones that we have. So I don't want to add another piece to that then I have to learn that software. I have to learn that system and how they, the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really honestly worry too much about algorithms and what time to post and do all that. I have software and I have a deal called CoSchedule that I use for a lot of our posts. A lot of the posts that you see are not, a lot of the ones on Instagram are as it's happening. Like I'll take a picture, post it directly to Instagram. But a lot of the Facebook stuff, it's scheduled. We schedule those up for the day or for the week. If it's a busy week and I know I'm not going to have time to really think about it, we'll go ahead and sit down for an hour and I'll plan out some posts for the week so that they go out, so that you're seeing something. And we try not to always just be posting things like this is for sale, even though our products, I feel, are serving customers because they're wanting them. They're resources that would help you. They're opportunities that aren't out there currently, so we're filling a need. But we also try to just share a lot of stuff that's just free information. And as this channel is kind of set up, as you've noticed, it's all free information. My motto on that stuff is the information was given to me, and so the information's free. But my time and my artwork are what we charge for. So the only way we really monetize anything that we do is through our patterns and products. And so the things that we sell, the belt packs, the material kits, our pattern packs, things like that, that's how we monetize. But as far as the information, I don't want to put that behind a paywall, so to speak, and to where I'll only tell you the secrets of the trade to get you to the next level if you pay me $500. I'm just not gonna do that. Now we do offer courses, but that's time that we charge for on that. But with all the things that are out there now, it's very cool and it's very awesome that it's so easy to market now. You just have to pick something where your customers are. They used to say always go where your customers are. If you're going to go to a show, or I wouldn't go to an English hunter jumper show and set up my booth because those aren't my customers. Nothing against English hunter jumpers. I just don't build English saddles. I don't do any English repair. I don't do any of that. So it would be a waste of my time and potentially a waste of theirs for me to set up a Western saddle booth at one of their events. We might get some belt orders or something like that, but if I for some reason was going to go to one of those shows, I probably wouldn't take any saddles. I would probably only take small personal goods, wallets, clutch wallets, purses, belts, things like that those ladies and guys that are riding that stuff would probably be interested in some of those personal items. But that's the deal. You have to go where your customers are. So I've always kind of taken that kind of mindset when it comes to social media and the internet is, where are my customers? I'm hearing more and more that my customers are on TikTok. But again, I don't want to have to learn a new platform, and maybe that's me getting older and being in it a little long, that I'm just kind of getting set in my ways. I don't know. But Instagram and Instagram stories and then Facebook and stuff like that, and especially YouTube, that's what's helping us the most on that side of the business. But you also got to figure out what you want to market. Like, you wouldn't want to market an item heavily that you don't like to build. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just because it sells well, but you don't enjoy building it, doesn't mean that you need to build them. Now, if you need to make money, you need to make money. And if making, round purses, that they sell really good for you, but you hate making them, you might want to make a few just so you can kind of get ahead of yourself a little bit financially. But because money's money, but it's also, if you come up with an item that's just a bear to make and you don't like making it, don't market it, don't put it out there, because you're probably going to get some orders on it. And so you can really control the workload that you have, the type of work that you get through your marketing and that kind of deal. But that's another subject as far as like exactly how to market that stuff. But when it comes to just general marketing, social media is great. If you don't have a website, don't break your back. Don't break your bank either. Trying to get one because you think everybody needs a website, just because, like I said, a lot of this social media stuff, it's so young. It's so, I look at it almost like where it's almost kind of volatile, because you really don't know what's gonna go. How many people, if you've got 20, 30,000 people following a good sized page, they're probably only reaching organically probably 1,000 people. And that's very frustrating, but it's 1,000 more people than you would have reached if you didn't put it on Facebook. So we've kind of left it like that, and just left it alone. Now, if you throw some money at it, $50, $100, whatever, you'll be surprised at how far it will go. But I don't want to put money towards something every time I go to market. Now, some people do feel really confident that throwing money at their Facebook ads and stuff like that really helps. And you can certainly call around and kind of question some other people that you see the sponsored ads for on Facebook, and just say, hey, do you mind giving me some advice on the Facebook ads? Is it worth it? You don't have to get down into the secrets of how they set up their audience and stuff like that in there, but you can just kind of run it by them and just get some advice to see if it's worth it for you. But if you do that, I would recommend using just a little bit of money. Don't throw $500 at it right away and think you're going to get $1 million in orders, because it's probably not going to happen. You're just going to have to kind of try it a little bit here, try it there, because it's very confusing when you get into that deal, and it's always changing. That's another thing with social media, is that we all have to remember it's always changing. If you go to my website, I'm in control of all the stuff that's on there. So whatever we want to post, whatever we want to market, whatever we want in the forefront to be portrayed to the customer, we control that. With Facebook, we put a post and send it out there. We don't know who it's going to. I don't know if you're going to get to see it. I don't know if somebody that's not even interested in leathercraft is the one seeing it. There's really no control over that. And I don't, not to foresee the future or anything, but I really don't think that business model is going to last. Just from a business standpoint, a businessman standpoint, most businesses don't enjoy playing that game without a return. And some of them, I don't know that I've talked to more that have stopped using Facebook ads than I have that are continuing to do it and saying, yeah, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's working great. I just haven't seen that. Of course, I'm talking to guys that are in more industry like ours, so that's a different deal. But if you look on YouTube, you've got other channels that have couple 100,000 subscribers. They're much larger than ours, and all that. I don't worry so much about the analytics. You can go crazy diving into all that stuff. When I started using Instagram, it was because my brother was on there. I didn't even know what it was. He said, "Hey, you got to get on there. It's cool." And I got on there, and it was and that's why it's just Don Gonzalez. It's just my personal name, because it was just my Instagram. Started using it, and then I'd post stuff as we're working, and I see a cool shot or something I did, I'll put it out there. And this was way before I started doing the YouTube thing and teaching and stuff. It began to grow really quickly, and I think because Instagram is more of a visual medium, and what we do is visual. So what we do is very intriguing. Most people don't see leathercraft getting done. They don't know how this stuff gets made. It's very interesting. And so I think if you just post cool pictures on Instagram, that would be my first recommendation, to start with Instagram. I know it's the same as Facebook. It's owned by them. But I still feel like Instagram is my best arrow in the quiver, so to speak, as far as my marketing. We spend far more time on Instagram. We post far more to there. My Don Gonzalez Saddlery page, where we market our actual custom goods, I've been really lazy on posting to that over the last couple of years. Mainly because most of our orders come in off of our website. So see, that's everything that we do on social media points back to our website. If you notice in this video in the description, there's a link to our website. If you notice on a post of ours that's sharing an article that we wrote or something, it's sharing the link from our website. A lot of times if I share videos from this channel, as far as a project video or the Monday morning video, this video here, you may have clicked the link on our Facebook page in DG Leathercraft. You probably click the link that brought you to our website to watch the video. We embed all these videos on our website, not all the Monday videos, but all the other videos we embed on the website, because I drive everything I do in the social media deal, I point back towards my website, because my website will be there, barring that the servers don't kick us off for some reason or something crazy, but that's a property that we own. We own the domain, we own the website, we control that. So I try to bring the eyeballs that I'm getting on all the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I try to turn those eyeballs into customers of our website that come to our website and peruse that, because now they're in our house basically. They're not calling us from a friend's house. They're actually in our place, and they're hanging out, and they're seeing what we're doing. And that's kind of the plan of attack that I've kind of come up with. Is what I do is like everything points back to that, and we market from there, so that no matter if Facebook shuts down tomorrow and says, Zuckerberg says, we had enough of this deal, we're going to go ahead and shut her down. Facebook goes away, no big deal. Most people that I had on Facebook have been to my website, or at least know my name enough to search Google and find my website, which has our phone number, which then has our address, so they can come to the shop. Like all that stuff. we've turned those eyeballs more into our customers, because when you're on a social media platform, just remember those aren't your customers. They're Instagram, Facebook's, Google's, YouTube's, that kind of deal. So you're a lot better off if you can get to the point where you can get a website and then have a home base that all these other little things out there can point back to, and that'll help you in the long run. Now, if you're doing it for a hobby, you're doing it for fun, you want to get a few little side hustle orders here and there, some people order a wallet, whatever, Instagram, Facebook is great for that. And ride it while it's there, use them while they're there. I don't suspect they're going anywhere anytime soon. It's awesome. Use it. Do whatever. Get on the new ones if you've got time. Like I said, TikTok, I've talked to a few people that have come in the shop that have huge followings on TikTok, and they're like, you need to get on there, and it's just too much for me right now, so I'm just not gonna try it now. I'm not gonna say we won't ever get on there, but right now we've got enough to handle with what's going on. And like I said, the majority of our conversation with customers and things comes in through our website, so we're gonna stick with that and kind of see how the social media thing goes moving forward. But it's a great tool. Use that. That's the easiest way to get in. Once you get, think I'm gonna quit just making stuff and giving away. I want to put some things up for sale, or maybe see if I can get some orders. Start you a Facebook page. Just start putting it to your own personal page. You'd be surprised just using your personal page how many times that'll be shared, how many people will see it, how many people you are friends with that you don't really know that want something that you're building that'll order from you. So you don't necessarily need to even put that much effort in as far as setting up your own business Facebook page and going through all that stuff. Because I will say that I know for Facebook analytics or algorithms and whatever, best I can figure, they treat the business pages a lot different on their posts than the personal pages, which is understandable. And like I said, it's their platform. If you're on their platform, you play by their rules. It's their business. I'll play however they want it. If they say we're not going to do business pages anymore, and if you're trying to sell anything, we won't let you post anything, then that's fine. I mean, I'll probably get off there because I have no other reason to be on Facebook other than that. So, but it's definitely a different world we're in. But it's very advantageous for us. It's very good for small-time craftsmen like us that can really get out there and market ourselves and put our stuff out there. And that's why so many people have side hustles now. If it was back in the day, it's a lot of work to try to get an ad in a newspaper or a magazine, or like that book I was talking about earlier that they call the phone book. That's a lot of work and a lot of investment. Most people wouldn't do that. That's why when you go in them old gas stations in some of these old towns, there's a pegboard that'll have just business cards everywhere. We did that too. That's how you used to market. That's how you got the word of mouth out there. Now word of mouth is at the speed of light. It's all on social media and stuff like that. So if you can put it out there and kind of market yourself and get a few orders, I would just say just don't get overwhelmed, especially if you want to keep it as a side deal and you don't want to be too overwhelmed. Just be real careful on the jobs that you take so that you don't overextend yourself and then not deliver or not be able to or something like that. So just be sure you're not taking more than you can handle, and then work your way up as you go along. And that'd be the only thing I'd say to be careful. But yeah, marketing, merchandising, it's an interesting topic. I don't know everything about it. Like I said, I kind of feel like I fell backwards into this deal and just happened to have pretty decent success on Instagram, and I feel like it's been great for our shop and Facebook as well. But like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I don't know all the nuts and bolts of social media. I just use the thing. I don't study it that much. I very rarely look at analytics. I very rarely study those metrics and try to see, I need to post 30 minutes earlier tomorrow because that's when the traffic. I don't do all that. I just post stuff that's cool and hope people see it, and it gets shared a few times. That's fine with me. And same thing with YouTube. YouTube's interesting because it's the second largest search engine in the world. And so as long as you've got your tags right and stuff, and you're talking about a topic, and that's the deal with our industry. If you're in the leather industry, you're kind of in a cool little niche because there's not that much competition. There's a lot of us out there, obviously. A lot of y'all are on this channel. I watch a lot of channels. There's a lot of great leather craftsmen on YouTube. But really, when you look at the scope of YouTube, leather craftsmen are like real small little corner. We're like in a corner over here, But that makes it really good for you because when you post something, you're going to show up in search results. You're going to be there because there's not a whole lot. If you're doing something on making I'm making a quiver for arrows, all out of leather. If you did a video on that, it's going to show up. If you make a post for that on Facebook, it's going to get around because people are going to see it and share it. Archers are going to see it. You know, it's just one of them deals. Like, what we do is very niche down, so we're not in a sea of, you know, millions of other people competing for that same space on the feed, you know. So when you go to post stuff, you know, it's like there's some folks that do a lot of, you know, business coaching or different more mainstream type business stuff, and they're marketing on there, and I can't even imagine how hard it is for them to get a post to go anywhere. And if you get into researching a lot of the social media marketing and kind of getting into that deal and trying to study up on it, and you want to really drill down on the analytics and the metrics and do a really good job, and if you, most of that stuff that you read about from all these people, you're not going to find a leather craftsman like us that's doing a course, you know, a paid online course on marketing, social media marketing for leather workers. There's not one that I know of. There may be, I don't know, but as far as I know, there's not one that's like in-depth focused on social media. But you'll find a bunch of them for other business folks. The problem is the angle they're coming from. They're coming into a highly competitive field, highly competitive area of the business market, that their strategy has to be way overkill than what you would need, because there's just, you know, if you post something for leather work, there's just not going to be that many. There's a lot. We got a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of us out there, more probably than in many years, as far as I can tell. But there's not near as much as some other industries are. So we're at kind of a little advantage. So it's a great time to get out there and market your stuff, get on social media. Like I said, my advice would be, though, as soon as you can, you know, within reason, build your little website or get somebody to, or it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Our website is very simple, I just wanted it very plain, very simple, very easy to get around, and we're still working some of the bugs out on that. So don't try to build this elaborate website that's got all these bells and whistles that's hard to update and hard to work and hard to navigate. So try to keep it simple. You just need a couple pages. Even if you just had a couple pages with your phone number and a little gallery, that's fine. But some home base for you where you own the domain or the URL, and people can find you no matter what social media platform you're on. It makes it a lot easier. But I enjoy talking about marketing. We'll get into that some more, I'm sure, going forward in some of the videos and stuff. And I've written an article or so on our website, I think, talking about that as well. So you can go to our blog and check that out. But as far as this week, we're getting ready for Waco. Waco is next week. So we will be in Waco Thursday morning. Our class is from 9 to 6. And unfortunately, that class is full. So I apologize for that if you want to take that. But we will be there at the show. I don't think they're allowing anybody to like watch the class or come audit the class or anything like that. It's for just the paid students or whatever. But like I said, we'll be there in the booth Friday morning, and you come by and visit and answer any questions you have, and love to meet you and kind of visit with you. But we're going to be in today and this week. I'm going to be trying to work on these rope bags and get those finished up. I need to get those both done before I leave. And a little bit of work on our saddles, hopefully, and then get stuff cut for the class as well as for the booth. So, like I said, I don't know how much stuff we're going to have there, but we're going to be there. We just wanted to mainly get a booth just so we have kind of a stationary spot to hang out, and we'll be right there by Maker's Leather Supply and hanging out with them. And, I might need some space for some things I might buy there, just need a spot to stick it while I'm waiting to leave on Sunday. So we're going to do that, and it'll be a good time. But like I said, we'll have some patterns. We did do 2 more printed packs that I should have probably today or tomorrow, I'm guessing. But we're going to be bringing more of the buckhorn briefcase patterns. We'll bring plenty of those. And then we'll also, I'm getting done the bifold pack and the wristlet pack. So both of those will be in printed version available at the show as well. So if you haven't gotten those and you would like them, then we'll have them at the show. Again, these older ones, I'm going to keep repeating myself because I don't want anybody to kind of have an oops and buy it again. But if you bought the digital version, you don't need the printed version unless you just want the fancy envelope. But what's inside it is exactly the same as a digital version. So if you have those, go back on our website under Leatherworker Resources, click on My Store Account, log in to your account, look at the ones you've bought, the downloads you've bought. Look at those and make sure that you know which ones you have. And that way, maybe make a list or something, or take a screenshot of it. And that way, when we put these new printed ones out, you can check and make sure you don't have it already. Because I hate for you to buy it again if you've already purchased the digital version. But we're getting excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come out if you're going to be in Waco next week, next Thursday. Well, the classes are Tuesday through Thursday, I believe, and then the show starts Friday, and it's Saturday, and then Sunday. We quit a little early. So if you're coming to Waco, we look forward to seeing you there. That's about all I got for you this week. If you haven't already, be sure to go to dgsaddlery.com and sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter. There's been some things going on in that newsletter the last few weeks that has been going really well. We're really excited about that. And I want to thank all y'all that have been a part of that, and we'll continue to do that as we can. Like I said, as I get in there and have extra, we're going to throw it out there and do that deal. So you're going to want to get signed up for that. If you haven't already, go back and listen to Parker Boot Company's interview on Lost Trade Podcast. We also did Chuck Storm's back there a couple, and there's a whole lot of other ones that are on there that are really good. So you can go back there and check those out, and you can find that on Apple or Spotify. Otherwise, if you haven't already, be sure and subscribe to this channel, and we'll see y'all next week in the Monday Morning Briefing.